Share the show. Oh yeah, crap! I didn't. Ah, dang! I didn't share the show.
Sharing the show.
I gotta share the show.
Oh, share the show.
I want to share
the show.
the
Share
show.
it to your site. Yeah, yeah. Get your phone out because you'll put it on your site too.
All right, we're count.
Right
wait.
from Applebox. See, now we just started the.
Oh, it's 5 minutes. Oh, okay.
Yeah, 5
well,
minutes.
I'm gonna share the show. Yeah, we got time.
Yeah, we'll talk about the show 1 minute before.
Get on the ground. All right.
All right.
Good old Facebook.
Yeah.
But yeah, since we got our producer on board to help us, I guess.
Day and night.
Emails every 5 minutes.
I love it.
Like update. Hey, also get this. In like, I'm like, oh, dude, oh man, that's like a lot of stuff, but it's good.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
Things
yeah,
are happening.
yeah.
Things are moving.
Nothing I'd love more than that, my man.
Yeah.
Nothing I'd love more than that. You know, that support system too, and that thing's moving. I mean, I've really seen that. I was a, you know, not an intentional Lone Ranger, but you know, I brought. I'm working more with Brad Elsey now, you know, and even Greg Flores, not on my immediate BG&L, but we're seeing a couple other people coming in the scene. Boy, you know, you grow so much more powerful quickly by involving other people in it. I know, I mean, just Brad alone, when he came on and started taking a little more active role in business, I swear, and we were talking about it this morning when I delivered the Jenny, it's almost like it doubled. You know what I mean? And it wasn't just another guy having it in, but somehow with all that synergy in there and that lines of communication to other people that I didn't have before. Brad talks to a whole different group of people than I talk to, you know? And it's just like, boy, it just, force multiplier. You know?
No, it's, gotta have that group of people.
You really, really do. You really do. And it's just like these guys for 2 years. I mean, we've been doing this here, maybe not a full 2 years, but look, it's a regular thing. I couldn't do this without you guys. You know what I mean? Or anything. It's just like you've got to have those people. You say, oh, we go find somebody else to do it. You don't just find somebody else to do it. You got a language. You got to talk. You know where the whole ecosystem is. You know.
Very, very true. All right, send these links out. I think the important thing is having humility, because if you go in thinking you know it all, you're not going to learn anything. You're not going to learn anything. Even though I was DPing when I did PA jobs. I did PA jobs.
Okay,
And I wanted to because I wanted to learn on set. I wanted to learn others with, but you can't go in there thinking, oh, they're doing the lighting wrong, or I can do it better than this guy. It's like, no. Like,
a very open mind.
Be very
You've got it, because you're seeing things that you don't understand yet.
Right.
And then if you can do something, somebody makes a mistake, you know, that's valuable too, because hey, I don't want to do that.
You don't want to do that.
You know.
You don't want to do that. Yeah. And I think if you come home from a set and you're able to get one thing that you learned, that helped you improve or level up on something, you won. You know, you won. You won that day.
Yeah. And you know what another one is too, is that, and this is what I really use in the G&E business, because it can be so big. At anything I'm doing, do one thing a day, or identify one thing you did that you pushed yourself ahead, that you push forward. It doesn't have to be huge. It's not, in fact, it's not about the big ones. You know what I mean? Those little ones bring that enormous change, you know, the complete change, you know. That's the important thing. That's the important thing.
Man. You make me reflect on a couple of weeks that just happened. It's like, dang, we didn't do small steps. We jumped forward.
Yeah, that's good.
I mean, it's good, but
well, you know what? You know why you did. You know why you did is essentially essentially because you had taken those small steps. That's why you were able to take that leap.
The leap, yeah.
It all ties in. It all ties in.
Gosh.
Okay.
I'm already getting nervous for Project X because of how massive it is.
Yeah.
And you know, like it's not enough manpower.
Yeah.
Because of the home and all that.
Yeah.
It's going to be a good one. It's going to be a
That's
fun
awesome.
I mean,
that's awesome.
We're able to bring, you know, our crew, our team.
Your team.
And execute it.
Yeah. And that's really what it's all about.
That's what it's about.
Yeah.
That's what it's about.
Greg Flores says, I see you.
On the messenger. All right, here we go.
Yeah.
All right. Burnie's Applebox.
Do we have the logo behind us, Tony?
It's already there.
Okay.
Well, not now.
Just put my face.
Yeah. 10 seconds, guys. Stand by. Coming to opening.
5, 4, 3, 2.
Hey everybody, Friday at 2 o'clock. Welcome. It's going to be Burnie's Applebox, and I am here with, I'm so excited, my good buddy, Austin Sabado. Austin, so glad. I've been trying to get you on here, and we've had you on once before.
Yeah.
But I've been trying to get you on. You're so busy, dude.
I'm trying. Thank you.
I am so anxious to talk to you and hear about what you've been doing.
Yeah.
And I so much have been watching you and admire you on Facebook.
Appreciate it.
I'll tell you, dude, you're just, in my book, you're hitting all the marks. So I'm very excited
I'm learning
to hear
from you,
about
Burnie.
it.
I mean, you're doing it too, so we're going off each other.
I'll tell you something. You've learned the most important part of the business right there. Thank you.
Right.
Here is what I want to do. Let me introduce Tony, Sean. Let me introduce the guys that make the magic happen.
Make it happen.
Go to your camera. There you go. There you go. All right, guys, how you doing? Everybody's here. Everybody's ready. Now, I want to ask you today, ask Austin any questions you would like. Ask me
Anything,
or Tony,
guys, yeah.
Sean, anybody, any questions you like.
We love questions.
We love questions. We love questions. And share the show, please. If you think there's somebody out that could use this information, and you're going to hear a lot from Austin today about how he got to start, what he's doing right now in the very beginnings of a very exciting career, you know, which is really important stuff, you know. So yeah, share it out there. We'd really appreciate it. Austin, you are the man, dude. I'll tell you. You know, and this is something, and we've been talking, you know, here pre-show and stuff, but I just want to go back and let you know what I've been talking to Austin about. I don't know where I was introduced to you. I know you, William Helmuth, good friends, you guys, and I know you were hanging together, and I think that's where I first got turned on to you, and I started seeing what you were doing. Of course, we met, and we talked jobs, and I think I did a scout with you at one time, went out there. I was so impressed, dude, with your execution of getting into this business, because I see a lot of people, and frankly, it quite bewildered me the first few years I was in it. I didn't, you know, totally get where I was at, totally what I'm doing. I've seen that you've been making a real study of it, though.
Yeah.
And I don't want to embarrass you here, okay?
Right.
Okay, but I think it's important. I think it's important because I think it gives some gauge. And it also takes us to a couple places that we'll go during the show today on what the new DP versus the old DP, sort of like that. But you asked William Helmuth what a year and a half ago?
Yeah, a year and a half ago, I was at a film event and just kind of everyone getting together. I met Will, and I just kind of, he was telling me, like, I asked him what he does, and I was just thinking he was going to say, you know, videographer or, you know, video production, but he said DP, and I was like, what's a DP? I had no idea what that was. And so he explained to me, you know, he's a director of photography, manages the camera and lighting department. I'm like, wow, that is super cool.
Yeah.
And then from there, I learned about camera operating, and assistant cameraman, and then so forth and so forth.
And you jumped right in, right? I mean, you were already sort of swimming in the pool at that time, but you jumped right in.
Right.
So that was a year and a half ago, right?
Yep.
Okay. That blew my mind when you said that, because I had, you know, I'd interviewed you before, so I knew a little bit about your history and stuff, but that blew my mind because what you have done in that time, what I've seen on Facebook, and of course we've conversed, you know, is mind-blowing, dude. It is an excellent job, and I think the thing that I'd like to point out is, like, you've got to have a plan. It doesn't have to be a great plan, but it has to be a plan. And you should be able, and I think you'll attest to this, be able to, you know, take the why in the road when it's there. And if you're going down a wrong direction that you don't like, you can change that and fix that, you know. So, but what I've watched you do is so amazing. From the time you go in, your posts are really friendly. They're really open, and you're just nailing the look. I mean, the look is awesome, dude. The look is awesome.
Yeah.
So tell us about when you started and where you're at now.
Okay.
Give me just a brief synopsis there. Not a lot of detail, but give me the highlights and stuff.
Okay. Well, 2018 was definitely a big year for myself. You know, just kind of learning about the industry, learning, you know, what everyone does, what happens on a set. So I was doing a lot of PA jobs in the start, did some opping jobs as well, and just kind of threw myself out there, you know, just threw myself out there in the water. And I did have to learn how to swim. Yeah. And it was a little difficult at times. It was difficult, but the key thing was
butterflies in the stomach, all that.
Yeah, when I would ride on set, I'm like, I don't know what to do, you know. Yeah. But the one thing is that it wasn't that I did not do anything on set. I did something.
Yes.
So I listened. When someone said, hey, we need an Applebox, I was like, what's an Applebox? Yeah. Oh, that's what it is? Okay, grab it. Here it is, flying in. You know that term, flying in.
Yeah.
Had to learn all that.
Yeah.
Had to learn all the walkie-talkie codes and all that as well.
Right.
And so you progress, you level up as you throw yourself out there, as you network, as you ask questions and observe. I think the key thing is really observing, because we don't really want to always ask questions when our coworkers are working hard.
Sure.
That's going to distract them from their responsibilities.
Yeah.
So we want to observe, what is this guy doing? And then when the time is appropriate, you can ask him, hey, I noticed you put this light here. Why did you do that? Well, you put this shiny thing in front of him. What was that?
Yeah.
Really observe. Really observe on set.
I think that's a very, very good point.
Yeah.
There isn't, you know, a set is such a strange thing when you go on it, because there's no apparent workflow. Usually a project starts here, it goes down the line and ends over there, and then it's out. You know what I mean? It's out the door. I remember the first time I was on set, you know, where I was on a real set and looked at it, and I was a 40-year-old $50 a day PA at the time, not figuring out what they were doing and waiting for something to happen, waiting for the work to start. Right. You know, and it never seemed to do. And all of a sudden, okay, we're ready to roll. You know, that was the thing that that is actually what hooked me, because then I went like, well, I've got to figure this out. You know, I was from a world of numbers and you know, and costs and everything like that.
Same here. I was a purchasing agent right out of high school. I was actually going into dance. I was a choreographer trying to pursue dance. But unfortunately, it just didn't pan out. So I
Dance is tough.
Dance is tough. Dance is tough. So I ended up sticking with that 9-to-5 job, and it was all numbers in the office all day, just typing away. And doing something else.
Just
something
the
else
opposite.
different.
Just the opposite, right?
Not typing. Well, I guess for emails, but I am pushing buttons now on cameras and whatnot.
You're hitting menus. You're hitting menus.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, it's really funny, and when it catches you, it hooks you.
It hooks you.
But I want to get back to what give me an overall sort of view of where you're at. Tell me where you think you're at now, and tell me where you want to go.
Nice. Where I'm at now, past couple of months, as you know, as filmmakers, January to February, and even March is a little slow for us, especially with this rain that's happening in Southern California.
Sure.
So in December, I knew that was going to happen. So I was actually doing a lot of reading. And speak of which, if you guys don't have this, you don't have this. You got to read this. And I'm not here just to promote Burnie.
You take charge cards?
This book I read in December. I was also reading some other books, but this one really stuck out to me. The content in here, Burnie, his experiences, his stories, all beneficial for those that, not just in grip and lighting, not just in grip and lighting. As a business and film, filmmaker, this is the book. This is the book.
That's very kind.
It's such a great book.
Thank you. Thank you.
When I was reading December, I'm like, I got to start like hustling.
Yeah.
I got to start hustling.
Did that actually make you hustle more?
It did, because it kind of laid out what goals should I set myself each month? What should I start planning out? How can I level up my game? And basically take baby steps. The book talks about self-producing, and I did do a little self-producing when I was doing video production, you know, did weddings, corporate interview, and, you know, talked to the client and all that. But from my experience on that, and in this book, how could I do that on a larger scale? Who do I need to network with? Who do I need to talk to? Who do I need to have a meeting with? What do I need to learn to get to that? So I was doing a lot of reading, and as well as I took some classes. Here's an interesting one. I took a class on how to write an email.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I took a class. It was an online class. I don't know how long it was, but
okay.
I had to pay for it and all that. And because I've noticed in business, sometimes you can't even get the customer on the phone.
Yeah.
It's the email.
Quite often.
And I'm thinking, if someone were to email me, what catches my eye? What's in there where I reply to them? And so there were some good points in that class, and I did see a difference after I took that class, and as well as I asked some other individuals that worked in business as well as in film, and asked them, what do you write in your emails? How do you make your emails really nice and approachable or something like that? And I applied that, and I'm starting to get more responses now.
Really? So you're seeing it that quickly?
Yeah, yeah. It's very interesting.
That's
very
awesome.
Interesting.
That's
now I'll give you guys a tip here. An email is full of words.
Yeah.
Why don't you add a photo in there? Add a photo of you on set, opping or gaffing or something like that. So, you know, you'll have an intro, hi, you know, my name is this person and all that. But if you throw in some photos,
really
I think that's
personalizes
good. It really personalizes it. And another thing too is that, are they going to click your link? Not all the time. You really got to hook them before they click on the link.
Yeah.
Because I think in the beginning when I started, I was like, oh, here are my links.
Here's my link.
You know.
Yeah.
They're going to read the email and be like, eh. But if you start throwing some visuals, you know.
Much more likely to be curious about what's on the reel. Yeah,
exactly.
That's very good
And it doesn't just apply to us photographers or DPs or directors. PAs, production coordinators, showing you at work, you hustling.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think that is a, you know, there again.
Yeah.
Here's the classic example. You just heard it right here. Somebody who takes the time to, because I'll tell you, I would have never paid money for a course on how to write a better email.
Yeah.
But you know what? I just learned a couple things right there that would definitely have helped me in the past, and I know will help me in the future, just by what you're saying. And I think that is the point. It's that curiosity and that desire to be better.
To be better.
To be better.
To improve.
To improve. To
improve. Yeah.
To improve.
For sure.
I love that. I love that.
So that was a big help for me.
Yeah.
Then I took a course on how to sell. And that was a real eye-opener as well, how to sell yourself. And that's the thing with the industry. It does rely on that, on how you approach people, how you present yourself. First impressions are a big thing. And yeah.
Well, give us some tips. Give us some tips here. What do you think about when you're going to sell yourself? And when you say sell yourself, you're introducing yourself, you're offering yourself up to do projects for these people.
Yeah.
Give me just and not, you know, the secret tip. You know, that's another
What's
thing.
The secret
there
sauce
is
to all
no
this?
secret tip here, right?
No,
you know,
everyone's
it's hard
different.
work. Yeah.
Everyone's different. The best thing I could definitely give you guys is find a common ground with whoever you're trying to sell with or sell to.
Yes.
Whether it's personal, work, film, or whatever. If you get that common ground, that personal touch, you're in. You're in. Don't go, I've done all these things. I own all this stuff. I.
Yeah.
That's great and all, but I want to know about you. Do I want to work with you as a person?
Right.
That's this industry.
Yes.
And that's what I didn't understand when I started. And so now I'm getting into that, and now I'm starting to see some good results. Some real good results.
That's great. By doing this, last couple months you said, you're already seeing the results. You're seeing a turnaround in things. You're seeing some more enthusiasm from the people that you're talking to.
Right.
Now, when you're with a producer and when you're doing that sell, you know what I mean? And part of me doesn't even like the word sell.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, I get it.
There's always something like people say, oh, but you're a good salesperson. I go, no. I don't like to sell. I don't, you know, so there is something sort of off-putting about that because it seems like there's something how do I put this? I guess, and we're just talking about my own psychology here, but when I hear sell, I always think about offering someone something that they don't need. Right?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
When it's actually the opposite. The real sell happens when you're able to put people with something they do need. That is a real sell. That's a solid sell. You know, because you've achieved something for them.
Right. A good experience was actually in January. A production came to me and said, hey, we want to do all this, and that, this is the budget. And I could have approached it and sell them me and all that, but the approach I went was actually, well, how can I help you guys?
Yeah.
What can I help you with to achieve your overall vision?
Right.
And I think that word help is what kind of drew them in. Like,
help.
Oh, wow, Austin's here to help us, not just take our money.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so I think that was kind of that personal touch for them.
Yeah. And you know what is important about this and about you telling us that right now is there's a lot of people that is like, I'm going to go in there and talk to them. I'm going to tell them what I can do, which is your natural go-to place, right? All that.
For sure.
And they don't think about, just like what you're talking about, what am I going to say to this person?
Yeah.
Who is this person? You know what I mean? What do I know about that person? How do I start the conversation? Those things are so important, and you know, it's very easy to think that they're not. Or somebody like me, and here's maybe a more realistic even example. I've had a lot of success doing what I'm doing, even though I'm probably doing half of it wrong. You know, but in my own mind, because I'm very comfortable with it and doing all that, I'm not challenging myself to find out what I could be doing better. And I think that's what you're doing, you know, and I think that's why it's important. And that's why it's so important not to become complacent.
Right.
You know,
Right.
I know for a big part of my career too, I was waiting for the phone to ring.
Yeah.
Because the phone always rang.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, for sure.
You know, when it doesn't ring, that's when you start really becoming real.
Yeah.
That's when you become who you really are. You know. How do you go about, like, not just, how are you attracted to people who you can work for? In other words, what do you see when you're looking at somebody that makes you think, ooh, I'd like to work for them. I'd like to be involved with their projects. Is it somebody talking to you? Is it seeing some post on social media? And then how do you get to know them better, too?
Right. I kind of want to have you ask that question again.
Yeah. What attracts you to somebody you want to sell yourself to? In other words, how do you identify that person? Is it through social media, word of mouth?
I think it's mainly social media. You see their work. And I really like to collaborate with this person. I mean, my colorist now that I work with a lot, Ariana, I saw her work probably 2 years ago, and I'm like, really want to work with her.
Wow.
I really want to work with her.
And how did you make that approach? Did you just say some complimentary on her work? Or?
Yeah, just kind of reached out and said, would really love to work with you when the right project comes along. And it did take some time. The right project came along, and we were able to work together, and now we work together.
That's awesome. That's
awesome.
It's
really, I think nowadays social media
is it. You really, whether you like it or not, you know, you have to be there. You have to be there anymore. You know, I was just telling these guys, I don't know if you were here or not, that I think you were, but a couple I know, you know, got off Facebook about 8 months ago, right? And they called me up and they said, hey, do you know anybody? And they weren't putting, I think, what I think is the real cause. These are people who are 20-year entrenched in the industry. These are people who, there is probably no one they haven't interviewed. It's on that level.
Wow.
The DP is somebody who, there is probably not a major event in the last 20 years he hasn't been at, you know. So these are well-entrenched people. But, you know, both of them were fed up and got off Facebook about 8 months ago. And I am not saying that their value is related to Facebook or anything like that, but I'll tell you this. These days, you need to be in front of somebody's face every single day. It's not
Every
once a
single
week.
day.
It's every single day.
Yeah.
They have to,
Yeah.
and it's almost like you're the movie, you're the story. They're following along.
Right.
And if you leave, if you miss too many days, they're going to somebody else's story. You know, they're doing somebody else's.
Yeah.
And that is so subtle because, as you know, and I know you're coming up now, and you've had this, people are contacting you now, say, hey, I've seen what you're doing. I'm sorry. So now it's the opposite. You're not having to contact people, they're contacting you. For a long time, people have said, oh, I want to work with you, I see what you're doing, and all that. You know, that's every day, and you never know it. You never get that immediate feedback from what you're doing on social media that this is working, that's not.
Right,
you know what I mean?
right.
You just have to go out there. And
Right.
But it's so, so, so important. I think that by the time you're dead, it's too late, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's too late to repost something then,
Yeah.
you know?
So, and that's a good point, Bernie. Someone reached out to me on Instagram and said, I really like your work and, you know, I want to work with you and stuff like that. And I actually asked them, I'm just out of curiosity, and I appreciate, you know, all the compliments and all that. What was it that drew you to my page, my Instagram page? And so she kind of wrote out a pretty good sign, because I said I wanted some feedback.
Yeah.
I really wanted some critical feedback. He said it was really the vibe you give off. You know, your sets look really fun.
Yes.
They look professional.
Yes.
It appears your technicality. You know, you're a professional. You're a working professional. And I said, wow, I really appreciate that. Just because I wanted to know how can I basically make it. How can I improve on my post? Because there are times I don't know what I'm going to say.
Oh, you don't
I don't know what to post.
No, I do the same thing, exactly.
The thing for me is like when posting and using all the social media, I'm always afraid of being too, I guess the word's pretentious. You know, just like, oh, promote.
Yeah, yes.
But the thing is, you're right. We have, you know, with advertising, marketing, with the whole social media thing, you have to do it on a daily basis so that people don't forget you.
Yes.
Imagine if you were driving on a freeway and you saw this billboard, next Star Wars film or the next Avengers, and then you saw it the next 5 minutes. The next time, man, that would really bug you. Yeah. But it's going to be imprinted in your brain.
Exactly.
It's going to be imprinted in your brain.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Same reason a jingle works.
Oh my gosh, a jingle.
Works. 20 years later, you know what I mean? You're doing the jingle. Hasn't been on here for 10 years.
Exactly.
You know, it is so important. And also, and this is something that, you know, once again, of course, when I started, there wasn't social media. So that was one thing. You know, I remember the time where I went on social media and I thought, I've got to figure out how to market myself, you know, and I struggled with social media and Facebook for about a year.
I'm still struggling with it.
Well, it's a struggle all the time because it's constantly changing. That's the platform that you never know what they're doing with the algorithm. You never know what they're picking out. You just have to have the faith that you're going to get through to the people that you want to get through to, you know. But I didn't know what I was doing. I remember that one day I stumbled across the Society of Camera Operators page. And it just was like, bingo, these people would want to see my 2000 production pictures I loaded to Facebook.
Wow.
They would want to see the shoots that I'm going out on, you know, because I'm saying, where is this community? Where is the thing? I remember I had 125 people after a year of being on Facebook. I decided to go through the Society of Camera Operators, and this is the old Facebook where, you know, they gave you their city and their picture. And I just said, anybody with a movie camera in their profile picture and they're in Los Angeles,
Adam.
I'll send a request to. I went from 125 people to 2 weeks later, I had 1,250 friends. And they were all in the industry.
It's like 5 times the
it was like, you know that feeling when you hit the big one, you see 3 sevens come up. It was just like that. I was power hungry. Oh, I want that guy. Oh, this guy looks interesting. Yeah, friend request.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you do that, and it was a big deal, and that made a huge difference. That brought me out of obscurity down here in Orange County. Guy with a truck, right? Nothing special. And then I just got hooked in with the right people who liked what I posted.
Yeah.
You know, these guys were all working movies, TV shows,
that's awesome.
all that. But you know what? as soon as we were on together, we spoke the same language. Didn't matter what projects they did.
Yeah.
Didn't matter what projects I did. We were talking the same language, and we were part of the community. And that is something, too, that I think is so important, is that you're always talking to the community. You're not talking to an individual. You're talking about our problems and this. Also, you have teamed up with some great people, and you work in a group. And I want to spend some time on this because this is something that so many people miss. You know, we are all individual freelancers, but that doesn't mean that you can't coordinate and use that multiplying power to lift everybody's career. And it's kind of what you're doing with Carl Scott, Cody Coker, all those guys. You know, tell us about that. Tell us about that.
Great friends to begin with, Carl Scott and Cody Coker. Cody was, I don't know if you're watching this, but he's the one that got me.
He's watching, I guarantee it.
He got me hooked on this, all this film stuff, and I really owe it to him. He, you know, pushed me forward and just kept saying, just keep doing good work, man.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it's collaborating with other good collaborators that are passionate about it.
Right.
And, you know, they're not just there to, I just want to make, you know, a bunch of money and work in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what?
It's not going to...
Go to Wall Street.
Yeah, exactly.
It ain't going to happen in Hollywood.
Yeah. So it's having that support. It's having that support with a good collaborator, because when you're on that low and you don't have that support, you're going to be on that low for a long
it's going to be
while.
a tough climb.
It's going to be a tough climb.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. Just a couple of weeks ago, Carl Scott and I were on a project together, and it was interesting. Like, there would be a day where I'd be super low. I'm like, man, I don't know. Like, we got a lot of shots. We don't have enough time and the budget. Like, what's going on here? And then he'd be like, no, man, we got this. We're doing this and all that. And I was just like,
and then you get pumped up.
Yeah.
You get
and then
up.
a couple days later, he'd call me late. We were on the phone, I think, for about 3 hours. He's like, man, like, this is going to happen. This has got to happen. I'm like, no, Carl, like, we're doing this. You know, it's happening, and it's going to be great. And it's just... it's been going, you know, like this roller coaster.
Yeah.
Before a film, you're going to get this emotional roller coaster. But when you have that support, at the end of the day, it's all going to be okay.
It's going to be click. It's going to click.
Yeah, it's going to click, and it's all going to be okay. And that's kind of the thing, I think, as filmmakers, we need to find and get that support from others.
Absolutely.
From other artists.
Yeah. And working in a group like that it's a loose knit group. I mean, it's not tight together like I have to work when you work or anything like that. You know, it's back and forth. But having that is so important, because I've done it both ways, frankly. You know, when I first started it was in a more probably competitive mode, like, oh, he got this job, he got that job. I realize now that was a strict illusion in my own mind of how that worked, because what I have learned hence is that you want more, give more. So you want to bring more in, you give more away. And I would not have understood that if somebody told me that when I didn't understand it. I've seen it. You know, I know how it works. By including everybody in and supporting the community and being truly supportive. You know what I mean? If somebody's down or whatever, you know, you can call them up, say, hey, how you doing? You know, or just some support. Everybody I have found that I've talked to about something that they thought they were going through alone, everybody goes through.
Everybody.
You know, and that's so important with that, just like what you're doing in that group, because I know I can call Greg Flores, Brad Elsey, something like that. I may not even be calling them for support, but I'm on the phone for something else. And by the time the conversation's done, you know, I'm pumped up again.
Right.
You know what I mean? They put my perspective back in order, and it's so important. You do for them what they do for you.
Yeah.
You know?
And you know, this time that I've been in this industry, we've kind of built up our crew. We've kind of, you know, established relationships with crew members that we really enjoy working with.
Yeah.
And I wanted to keep that pretty much throughout my career, because if you look at, you know, the guys that are doing it in Hollywood, they've been working with these people for who knows how long.
You got your team.
Yeah, they got their team.
Yeah, you got your team.
You know?
Yeah.
It's all teamwork. And if you can't, you know, if you're always having a new crew, or you know, you might not trust this one crew member, how's that going to work?
It's not going to work.
How's that going to work?
It's not going to work because there's always something in there. You know what I mean? And you have to have broad shoulders, and you have to have you know what I mean? Not be too sensitive on the skin, right? You know, but you've got to go out there and do that. But you're absolutely right. You know, it's not going to work if there's one bad apple and stuff.
Yeah.
You know what? I think we're going to go to a little break here. We good for that, guys? Awesome.
Break time.
All right, break time.
Crafty.
Sorry, not here. No budget.
All right.
All right. Hi, I'm Burnie. I own Burnie's Grip and Lighting, San Diego Grip and Lighting, and Los Angeles Grip and Lighting. You know, we pride ourselves on not only renting you the best equipment, but also giving you the best crews. And one of our core values here at Burnie's Grip and Lighting is that we give you the highest production value in the world. And remember, people used to say national, local. No. We present world-class production value on every set. We also know budgets are very tight these days, and you've got 10 hours to get what you need in the can. We move ahead, we move fast, and we know what you need. When you rent from Burnie's Grip and Lighting, you have a partner on your production for that day that is making sure you are well taken care of. So anytime you're in Southern California, give us a call at 714-609-3545, and we'll take very good care of you. See you on set. And we're back with Austin Sabado. You know, Austin, you used a term, and you may have used it when we were talking, but you used a term before the show, and I really liked what you said about it. Let me was leveling up.
Leveling up.
Give me a definition of leveling up.
Well, Carl and I used to kind of joke around when we'd go on set. We're going to gain that XP. And I'm sure for people that, you know, that game, they understand experience. XP is experience.
Got you.
And it is. When you go on set, learn, observe, gain that XP, level up.
Yeah.
So that you can improve, work on your workmanship and just get better.
Yeah.
Because that's all it is. When you go on set, you're going to be leveling up.
Yeah. You're leveling, every time you level, you lift it a little bit.
Right.
Right?
But you have to do the action. You have to do the action. And I'm just going to talk to this cam here.
Yeah.
Gosh, the close-up.
You're ready for your close-up.
Yeah, the close-up. Oh, boy. Leveling up. It is very important when you are on set. I think your book talks about this, Burnie. Mouth closed, ears open. Mouth closed, ears open. You're listening. Oh, and eyes open, obviously, too.
Yeah, yeah. Don't run into anything.
Don't run into all those C-stands.
We are in a visual medium.
Yeah, definitely mouth closed, ears and eyes open, because there's a lot of stuff that are happening on a set. And I think if you're able to take home one thing that you really learned that day, you are leveling up. I mean, I'm trying to think of an example or an experience.
Even let me just add that even by being on set, you've leveled up, because every time you get yourself on set, you're one step closer to your ultimate goal.
That is true. That is true. And it's up to you how much you want to level up. It's kind of, you reap what you sow. How much work you put into it, how much time you're going to be putting into it. It's going to come back to you and help you level up.
And pay off.
Pay off. So,
you know, it's so funny. Tony, do we got a comment?
Yes. We have a question.
A question.
Goodness gracious, questions.
This happens every now and then.
People do it good. It's from our good friend and former guest, Dave Waco.
Hey, Dave.
Dave. Dave,
Yep.
maybe.
Dave.
Yeah, you should meet Dave. He's an awesome guy. Awesome guy.
It's a question for Austin.
Yeah.
Describe your relationship with your gaffer and key grip, and how do you guys prepare for a shoot?
That is an awesome question.
I also asked if you review previous work with your keys to improve. So it's kind of a
Okay. Well, first question, which is, how you communicate? Is that correct?
No. Describe your relationship with your gaffer and key grip. How do you prepare for a shoot?
Gotcha. So your role as a DP, you are the key man of the director. Who is your key man? It is the gaffer. That relationship is very, very important. That you need to be able to trust that person. You need to know how to communicate with that that individual. If your guys are always arguing, oh, put this light here. No, we got to put it here. It ain't gonna work.
Yeah.
So the relationship that I have, Mark Lopez is my gaffer.
Yeah, sure.
You know, I'm just gonna have to name drop because
Absolutely.
he's my guy.
No, Mark's a great
that
guy.
I will ask questions.
Yeah.
And there are times where I'm just like, I'm texting him all night, shoot right before the shoot. Oh man, like, are you sure we got this? And he's like, dude, we got it, man. Dude. And but it's that relationship.
Yeah.
It's that buddy relationship where we can kind of, respect one another.
Sure.
There's gonna be times where on set things are heated.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we're friends.
Exactly.
We're making stuff happen.
Exactly.
We're making movies.
That's right. That's
right.
right.
The whole
That's
thing.
right. You can have that relationship through the rough times, and you know the communication levels, and you know the trust.
The trust is a big thing. Trust is a big. And there were times where there was some heated stuff after set, you know, and Mark is such a great guy that he approached me about it. And just said, hey, man, like, can we go out for fun? There's something I got to talk to you about. I'm like, sure, man.
Yeah.
And he brought it up to me, and I was like, dude, I'm so sorry. I had no idea.
Yeah.
I had no idea. And it's being honest with one another.
Being
just
really
like how you are as
mature.
your friends,
Yeah.
with your family, you have to be honest in this industry.
Yes.
You have to have humility.
Yes.
You have to have that
so
humility.
much, dude.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
I think that's, and I hope that answers your question, Dave.
Yeah.
Because,
well, there was a second part.
Oh, yeah, the
too,
second part, yeah.
Was there another part to that, Tony?
Oh, yeah. Do you look at previous work with your keys to improve?
Previous work keys.
So your key grip, your gaffer, do you take them down, look at some old stuff, and then go over it and say, here's what we could have done better?
Yes, that is an important thing.
Yeah, I've never done that, but it's a great idea. Do you do it?
Thing.
Have
Yes.
you done it?
In January, we did a shoot, and it was a hustle and bustle kind of thing. And I had a diagram that we wrote out. We did the game plan. We shot it, looked great, client was happy. Then afterwards, I know there was some adjustments, so I talked to the gaffer and the key grip, Mark as well. Well, Mark was the gaffer. I was talking to Mark, and just to kind of, what were the adjustments that we made on the fly that were super quick that I wasn't aware of?
Right.
And I looked at it, and I'm like, okay, and that's how it improved the image. And I thought about to myself, what could we have done more? Add in more, because it was a hair commercial, so we probably could have punched in more hair light. And so I kind of discussed with Mark. He said, yeah, no, totally. Next time we'll definitely add that.
Right.
Because that's the thing. It's always ask yourself at the end of the day, what could I have done better?
Oh,
what
absolutely.
Could I have done better?
Absolutely. Yeah. You know, my thing is, in my experience, probably, and I mean, this is not, if anything, this is a conservative estimate, Out of all the things I've shot or been on set, I have not seen 98% of it from the time that I saw it on the monitor. DPs, directors, it's much different experience for them than it is for me and that below the line thing. Because for me, it's about packing the truck up and going to the next shoot the next day, right? I have to tell you, it's probably the thing that I think held me back the most is not seeing that stuff. Because I could never throughout almost for the whole career, you know what I mean, my whole career, I could never pick out like, ooh, I really like that, or that kind of didn't work. Now, I've seen it when it doesn't work on the monitor and lobbying for changing it or doing something different. Either we had time or didn't have enough time or whatever, and done that. But there's times where you see a piece that's put together and it makes a difference. You know what I mean? For the most part, especially after I got more experience and actually became a gaffer than than I was when I was just working G&E. You know, then I sort of had my bag of tricks, if you will, that I knew they were go-to, you know what I mean, and using all my gear. I knew my gear very well. So I knew what it could do and what it couldn't do and stuff. But, you know, that is a very big thing about reviewing. I think that's a great idea.
And even on set, I really like it when the crew, or even myself, when I remember to do this, I think this is always good. And to also answer your question a little bit more, Dave, whether you're a director, DP, anything, any role or position, we're all there to work hard and get something done. Ask the person you're working next to this question is, how can I make your job easier?
Ooh, I like that.
What can I do better? And I remember this follow focus was down on the set, so I had to pull my own focus on this 100 macro lens, and you know, my assistant, Hayden Warner, great guy, by the way. You know, he came up to me, hand on my shoulder, and be like, "Hey, man, like I know, like I can't get the follow focus up right now. It's giving me some issues, but what can I do to make your job be?" And that just
gave you that
just that
confidence.
Ease, that confidence. Like I got my crew, they got my back. It's not just me on this
that's really
battlefield
great,
alone.
Dude.
So
no, that's very good advice.
Just by saying that, it's a morale booster. It's just, it really, really, really helps.
I think we might have another question.
Oh boy,
here.
More questions.
More questions.
More questions.
Yes, we do. All right. So, Bill Gruber would like to know, what camera equipment do you carry, and how are you adapting to ever-changing technology?
Okay.
Finally, we're getting some great questions.
Great questions. Okay, so carry as in owning, I'm assuming.
I would think so, and this is a subject I wanted to talk about, so this is great.
Yeah, and we actually talked a little bit about that last month. So currently I own, I own a black, for camera, I own a Blackmagic Ursa Mini Pro 4.6K. In regards to lenses, I ended up selling a bunch of still lenses last year and started renting. Because I saw the benefit of using different lenses and et cetera,
and not being just stuck
and
with
not
the
stuck
same
to just
players.
one, trying to pay those off or something like that. And then, so that's what I own right now, but I am, big announcement, no, I am going to be selling that. I am going to be selling that because I see the benefit of not just sticking to one item. Of branching out and, you know, working with all sorts of tools. All sorts of tools. And then a little, I think there was a second part to that question, was how to...
What was it, Tony?
No, only one question.
Okay.
But you know what? That is a very good point.
No. Sorry, there actually was one. So, hey folks.
Hey everyone.
Yes. How are you adapting to ever-changing technology? But there's also a throw-on to that. Some guy named Gary Hammond. Some guy. Was kind of wondering what you feel is the camera with the best bang for the buck out there right now. So.
Okay. So wait, sorry. First bang of the what's the first question?
Adapting to technology.
Okay, adapting to technology. That's actually really, really important.
That is very important. That's actually quite huge subject.
I just experienced this actually last month, too.
Okay.
Facebook is actually really, really good. Not just for social networking, but for events. Canon, Arri, Red, all the major
I see you
lighting.
all the time.
Burnie.
Yeah.
They're hosting events. They're hosting these events, and you can click, RSVP, and go to these events and learn. I was on this big thing because we were doing a hair commercial. I wanted to make sure I provided the best, tools on the job. So I started learning about different diffusion filters and how they work with the lights as well as faces. Because I learned that, in Hollywood, when you're doing your close-ups, the talents, the actresses, they want to look their best. And there are diffusion filters out there that will really exemplify that beauty, soften their face and all that. So I was on this thing. I was reading books. I was researching online on Google. And then I did a test in a rental shop. Then at the end of the month, Canon and Schneider did a filter event and said, come on over to Canon. We'll teach you all about the filters, and we'll show it to you live. And so all my research I did, reading and then testing on my own, I was like, okay, this is what I know. I want to learn what other people know and really make sure like I did my
and
stuff
really
right.
Test your thesis in the
my
field.
thesis.
Yeah.
So it's almost like the scientific stuff going on.
And you have the advantage of being in a room full of people who know the material and other curious people, which is so great for the back and forth.
So I think, it's definitely going to these events that are happening. You really can benefit a lot, as well as reading online or in books and stuff. But the events, get on that. Get on that.
And we got another. I think we got another question here, right?
More questions.
Ah, look at you, boy.
Oh no!
Austin's bringing it up. Cody Coker.
Cody Coker.
Actually, it's for both of you.
Yeah.
Share one experience, good or bad, where you learned a valuable lesson in regards to communication or execution with director or client.
Director,
so client.
Director, client.
Yeah.
I'll let you go on that one, Burnie.
Well, I would. It's very simple, and it's so stupid, but I think it probably could happen to everyone. I remember I have a client, regular client. It was the HBO client, but it was smaller projects, that they did, and very used to working with the people. It was fairly simple job, there was nothing complicated about it. I was quite used to it. So one time she sends me an email, right? I open the email, I read it, I look at the date, okay, boom, put it in my calendar, right? All right, know what I need. No, I've done it a million times before. Put it in my pocket. 3 days later, I get another email from her. She goes, I didn't hear back from you, so I went with Kelly Porterfield because I got worried that you weren't going to be there. And she's right. I looked at it. I was very comfortable with what I had to do. But I forgot all about her wanting an answer, wanting that, yes, it's okay, even though we've done it a million times before, I know she heard nothing back from me. And it seems stupid, it's a simple thing, but boy, you cannot forget about the clients. You've got to be there, you've got to let them know. If you're busy or tight, don't have much time right now, we'll get back to you later, but yes, we're all good to go. That's all it took, I would have kept that job. So that's a small one for me. I've made plenty of mistakes with clients. But that's one. How about you? Any ideas?
Tony, I'm going to have you reread that question for you that way I can, because that was a great story, and I just got sucked into that story, and I just totally forgot what the question was.
All right, let's find it here. There it is. Share one experience, good or bad, where you learned a valuable lesson in regards to communication or execution with the director or client.
With the director or client. Okay.
Could be a good story, too.
Yeah. No, I mean, Cody, you know this. Communication is key. Communication is key. I've had, he knows, had experience good and bad. You got to be upfront, honest from the very beginning. You have to lay it out, everything. Contracts has to say it all. I did a client job. Things weren't worded properly, bit me in the butt, came around, and it lasted for 6 months. And it was horrible. It was horrible.
Very demoralizing, those things. And I would just come back to this, that if it is not working for you, you know what I mean? Not all clients are created equally, certainly. Lose the dogs. I'll just tell you that right now. They're not, don't think you're going to turn a bad client into a good one. It will never happen.
Never happen.
If you're not happy with the way they process their shoots, their ethics, anything like that, move on, because there's somebody waiting for you that is really good. That is really good.
That's true, because it's taking up your time. Time is the most valuable thing, especially in this industry, especially as a freelancer.
Absolutely.
Time
Absolutely.
is so critical.
And if your client's not going somewhere, you're not going somewhere.
Anywhere.
That's right. You're behind them.
You're not leveling up.
You're not leveling up.
You're not leveling up.
Right on. You know what? I do have a question, too, for this, and we talked about this a little bit, and you alluded to it, and I know you said you sold your lenses. Because this is a good subject. It's something, of course, as an equipment guy, I was never really gave that much thought to. Do you think a DP needs to own a camera? And is it good or bad to have a camera from a client's point of view?
I will tell you from that, right away my answer is depends on your location.
I think
your
you're
location.
right. Yes.
I was living in Costa Rica. I needed to have my own gear. I was a photographer.
Of course.
There's no rental houses.
You're not going to Sammy's.
There's no Sammy's.
Yeah.
Depends on where you live.
Yeah.
I think it is very beneficial to own gear.
Yeah.
Just again, depending on where you're at in your career, depending on what you're shooting and what you're doing, you know, wedding videography, you're not going to rent an Alexa.
No.
You know, you're going to own your DSLRs, and you can make money off of that investment later on.
Very much so.
So again, it just depends on where you're at. And depends on where your career is. So right now I'm looking at more of just establishing relationships with rental houses as well as camera owners and saying, hey, I can bring you business. I can help you make money.
Yes.
Let's work out a deal where I can use your equipment, and then let's just make movies.
Let's make movies. Because you're very right. Without owning a camera, you can still make money off of a camera, which I've learned with the lighting gear and stuff like that. Also, I will say another thing too, and I think this comes to the art of what you're doing, and that is, I know that I have seen myself being a gear owner, having all this stuff. I am so used to working with my gear, it's actually held me back as a gaffer. Because I think as a gaffer, if I didn't have the gear and I was just out there and I just had to make a beautiful picture, I wouldn't be thinking about what I owned, number one. I would be more open to other gear. So I think even in that, looking at my own career, my career is as a business owner, though, as opposed to a gaffer, because I'm much more of a business owner now than I am an active gaffer, you know. So I think that, you know, for me it was okay doing that. But I think that equipment is something to be really considered very carefully and how that affects your career.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, I invested a lot of money in gear.
Yeah.
And there were some gear purchases that were more mistakes. So it's just really, you know, planning things out, counting the costs.
No, exactly.
It's just really going to be a good investment.
Yes, yes.
Really good investment.
I think we got another question,
More
believe
questions.
it or not. I love it. I love it.
All right, this comes from Peter, who says he's down under, so I'm assuming Australia.
Hey.
Hello, Peter. Well, thanks for watching. How do you deal with supplying good gear and time, but not suffer on the income side of things? Which I think goes along with what you guys were just talking about.
Good. I just experienced this, Peter. Was it? I don't know if it was this week or last week. Was only going to make $300 on this interview, and my camera was on another job. So I was like, okay, how am I going to do this? And I want to give them the, you know, a decent quality. And,
of course.
You know, I could have just gotten the DSLR and done that. And again, calculate your costs, see what tools you have available. I approached my rental company that I have a good relationship with. I said, guys, just going to be upfront honest, only making $300. I'd like to pocket, I think I just said I'd like to pocket 100 or something just for this one-time thing. You know, it's a reoccurring client. So there's other jobs in the future that aren't so low. And they hooked me up.
That's awesome.
So again, just being upfront and honest and just being
and once again, developing the relationships. You know, this is all about relationships. You know, it's the equipment's going to come and go. Whatever camera is out there today will not be there in 5 years. I assure you. You know.
Just a quick tip for everyone that's watching that's, you know, wanting to know more about gear and stuff. Companies have demo units. I don't know. Again, don't. Just a disclaimer, I'm not sure if they have to give out the demo units, but they do have those available.
There's always consignment units and demo
stuff
for sale.
So, I think it was last year, I approached Small HD and I said, hey, I'd like to use one of your demo units for a shoot that I have coming up. Very interested in buying it, but I just want to try it out to see, you know, if the investment is worth it. They let me have it for about a week, returned it, done, and then I really liked the product, so I ended up buying it. But that's what I'm saying is that you can try it before
you can try those things out. And that's just so important. Once again, being in the community, being out there,
knowing people.
It's the most significant thing for your career.
Don't just focus on, I need to know producers and directors if you're a DP. know art directors, know hair and makeup artists, know everybody and what they do.
So
embrace it.
You know what? And I do talk about this in the book too. When I go out on set, I go to every department head and introduce myself.
I love
Thank
that.
you, and
that.
make sure I go to the PAs. Yeah. The PAs are going to save my ass.
Nation.
If I've got a good relationship with a PA right on there, I can just look at him and he's waiting for me to ask him to do something. You know what I mean? So that is huge, huge, huge.
Yeah.
You know.
So we got about 5 minutes left.
5 minutes.
Some of these pictures.
Oh yeah, let's
photos.
Go.
Awesome.
5 minutes.
Wow,
Yeah.
5 minutes left already. Dang.
I know.
Guess I'm gonna have to come back next time. No, I was kidding.
I've got to go to work. I've got so many emails on this thing. Yeah, let's take a look. Let's have a look.
Well, cool. That was just like a montage of stuff.
What is this
just,
now? What are we looking at?
Yeah,
here?
so Hayden Warner took the shot, and we were in Hollywood.
Yeah, it looks like you're on a roof or something.
Yeah, we're actually just shooting some B-roll stuff of just talents on their phones, getting together, like kind of just kind of hanging out. Just B-roll for this company.
Stuff.
Yeah, very lifestyle. So just kind of up there, hopping, and yeah, that was an interesting shot. Carl Scott kind of wanted a very interesting angle, and we could only do it that way, so.
So there you are.
Yeah, there I am.
Breaking your back. Yeah.
Again, same project too, and yeah, it was a good one. And again, it's all relationships. I mean, that project specifically was just people we knew. It wasn't the greatest of budgets, and it was, hey, can you help us out, get it done? We reached out to our partners and vendors. Chapman Leonard helped us out with getting a Cobra Dolly on there. And and I think too, when you approach vendors, your potential partners, rental houses, tell them what you're doing. Again, be open and honest.
Absolutely.
This is my budget. This is my script. This is my treatment. This is what I want to do. This is the vision I want. Not just, hey, can I have an Alexa Mini?
Right.
Right.
Yeah, can I work this out?
Can I work this out?
Yeah.
Show them.
Yeah.
Because they're filmmakers too. They're not just business people. They're filmmakers too.
That's a very good point. That's a very good point.
Too.
They love film like anybody loves film in our industry.
Exactly. That's why they're doing it.
Yeah. And something that you do so brilliantly, and I'd like everybody to remember this too, is you, just like you did with me, when the van you had that we did a deal with me. Yeah, you tag me and B Cine too. B Cine. Yes. You tag me and you do all that. That makes so much difference to people. Yeah. If you show a little something to Chapman Leonard and send it back to them.
Oh, we did.
They're going to throw. Well, the first thing they do is they put up that on their social media. Yeah. And I can assure you, anybody that does you a good in Hollywood or whatever, they are all dying for more social media content. So you send them pictures of it, you say the nice review, boom, you're in.
Yeah, a call to action to all the viewers and those that are going to be watching this in the future. BTS is very important. And sometimes when you're posting on social media, you don't know what you're going to say. So the best thing to do is just hashtag making movies.
Making movies.
Make movies.
Ooh,
but
I like that.
I would challenge you guys to just start posting. Start posting weekly, daily if you can. It doesn't need to be the best of pictures, but get in the habit of posting something.
Yes.
And it will progress from there.
Yes.
It will progress from there.
Yeah.
So.
And you'll be surprised how many people follow you. From that alone.
Yeah.
There's Carl.
Carl Scott doing his thing.
Yep. On set. And then, is that your camera right there?
No. Oh my gosh. Oh, I wish.
No, that's the one you bought.
That's the one we rented. Yeah, we rented that out.
Yeah.
And it was it was a great fun camera.
And Bill Hoshevnikov is a guy who never owned a camera.
See,
you know what I mean?
There you go.
Never owned a camera. And I think Bill is very, in the sense that he was like almost the true classic DP. It's just like, give me a plane ticket, I'll show up, and here's what I want, and I'll make the pictures for you,
Yeah.
So, I am anxious to introduce you to Bill, too.
It'll be fun.
Yeah, Bill is such a great guy. He is such a great guy, great DP. What is this? Which project was this?
Same thing, just the night stuff now. Yeah. All the same.
Yeah. And the hours in this business, I mean, you put in, there's a lot of hours in this business. You probably put in, 70 hours a week.
I don't know. I mean, again, that's the thing. It's like you have to balance out.
Yeah.
You have to balance out. So family, film, friends,
yeah,
and
no,
life,
but you know what? The truth is you just work all the time, right? Yeah.
all the time. As a freelancer, yes.
Yeah.
You are.
You're on all the time. You're
Very
never
true.
off work.
Very true.
Wow, this is so awesome, dude.
Oh, man.
So how do people get a hold of Austin Sabado?
Well, you can call me at 865-30. No, that's the song.
678-309.
Yeah. You
Hey,
can
we're
reach,
safe. We're safe, Austin. We better stick with film and video. Behind the camera.
You can reach me, or my Instagram, Austin Sabado is probably the best way. You can send me a message through there, or check out my website, austinsabado.com.
Yeah, Facebook page.
And Facebook page,
Yeah, but Instagram is really where it's all happening.
Instagram, it is. I think the next generation of filmmakers are going to be on there.
Yeah.
So if you're not on Instagram, get it. Follow Burnie, follow Applebox.
Follow Austin.
Hashtag BTS photos making movies.
Yeah.
And just I want to bring up one point if there's enough
Sure,
time.
absolutely.
Again, guys, thank you again for supporting me. Thank you again for seeing what I'm doing. And I want you guys to show me what you're doing.
Yeah,
and tell me what you guys have learned and all that. I get a lot of great questions through my social media, but I also want to learn what you guys are doing too. So if you have something that you learned that day, send it to me. Email me because I want to learn too. We're all in this together. We're really all in this together.
Right on. And you know what? You get some, you like them, those people send them to you. Send them to me, we'll show them on the show.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There we go.
That's awesome.
There we go. So keep leveling up, everyone.
Yep.
Make movies.
All right. Thank you, brother.
Bernie.
All right.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
We'll be back next Friday with another Burnie's Applebox. Cut. That's a wrap.